There's no Presbyterians in the back. All right. The road to this evening began 19 months ago in December of '07. The Stewardship Committee of the Presbyterian Church of Floyd began to explore the possibility of bringing Young Life to Floyd County. Through the vision of committee members and a strong interest from the Church of the Holy Spirit in Salem, we started the journey. You see, I found out after that there had been people praying that Floyd County would start a Young Life Club for several years. Who knew? Quick Lawrence, the pastor of Church of the Holy Spirit, visited the Stewardship Committee along with his daughter and Pat Cummings, who was the regional director for Young Life in Southwest Virginia. Their enthusiasm and their witness to Young Life's ministry led us to continue to learn more about Young Life. So, that takes us all the way up to December of '07. I called Steve Schmidt, who was then area director for New River Valley Young Life, and in January we held the first of 5 community informational meetings and made our first of several contacts with the Floyd Ministerial Association. Soon after that, there was a small group of adults that began meeting monthly to pray together. By April of '08, we had established an official Floyd County Young Life Adult Committee made up of adults from several different churches in Floyd County. We began to pray that God would provide the right leaders and the right timing for Floyd Young Life. And about this same time, a young lady named Morgan Kane and her fiance, Daniel Grimm, became interested in becoming volunteer leaders. And they became involved in the planning and prayer. Throughout last spring, summer, and into the fall, we continued to learn more about Young Life by experiencing it. We visited Rockbridge, which is Young Life's camp in Goshen, Virginia. We went to weekly youth gatherings called Club, both in Blacksburg and in Reiner, and we attended banquets similar to this one in Blacksburg and Roanoke. Well, Morgan and Daniel, who had now become husband and wife, and I spent fall weekend camp at Rockbridge. And boy, we experienced the electricity of over 600 kids excited about being together, having fun, hearing about Jesus, and being loved by their leaders. Around this same time, Morgan and Daniel brought together a small band of Floyd young adults who prayerfully explored the ministry of Young Life and possible involvement. Steve continued to provide teaching, insight, and direction to this group of young adults, encouraging them to visit clubs around the area and leadership meetings in Blacksburg. In January of this year, Steve began weekly Bible studies and leadership training with a core group of leaders that included some of those folks you saw up here: Morgan and Daniel Grimm, Wayne Ingram, Brandy Munsey, and Amanda Epperly. Also in January, Morgan, after a long and prayerful time, felt called to apply to the Young Life intern program, and she was accepted in February. The regional selection team also confirmed her heartfelt call to ministry in Floyd and placed her as our first staff intern. Since that time, Steve and Morgan's leadership, the volunteer team, which now includes Jenny Cartwright, has continued to grow together in anticipation of the kickoff of Floyd Young Life. And hopefully, in August, when school starts, we'll have kids coming to club. Well, that's what brings us here tonight, our first annual Floyd County Young Life Banquet. We hope that tonight, as you listen to Jack and Steve and some of the other speakers, that you will capture some of the spirit of Young Life and see how God will use this ministry to change the lives of our Floyd County youth. And there is a little personal prequel to this whole story. I hate to say this, but 36 years ago, I was a Young Life camper. I went to Malibu a young life camp in British Columbia. And during that week, I witnessed the beauty of God's creation in a new way and had more fun than I ever thought was possible to cram into 1 week. I was surrounded by caring and accepting Christian adults who helped nurture my relationship with Christ, not only during that week, but back home throughout the school year. So, how do I know that Young Life changes lives? I know because it changed mine. And next is Jack.